Hello, my name is Kistler,
I'm Anja Ernst.
and today we will be doing our senior moment.
All right, so I'll start with some questions. Cool. When did you start acting and what inspired you to do so?
I started off in hip hop classes at South Coast Conservatory, which was like my first studio, and then so I just started off doing dance because first off started doing baseball, and I didn't like it. And because and like my grandma like kind of noticed I didn't like it because what I would do is I would dance in the outfield during baseball games, and she was like, bruh, he cannot be in the like playing baseball anymore. He has to be like in a dance class. He has to be like doing dance. So I started off doing dance, mainly like hip hop, just because that was like more fun. And then at that studio they all had like a musical theater class, so I did Mamma Mia there, which for the summer, and I got to play Sam Carmichael at like 8 years old or something, which is really funny, and I really liked it. So I think that definitely started my passion for acting, and I definitely like found something like this was just like for me. And then from there I went to a competitive musical theater team at Center Stage Studio. So I went there for like 3 years, I would say, and then I went to OSHA because that's how I was introduced to OSHA, was through my studio. And then I just went into acting because I felt like I was like that was my weakest spot, because I mainly got training in singing and then in dancing, but not really in acting. And then from there, I really realized I like acting more so than like more musical theater.
Nice.
So I know you committed to Sarah Lawrence.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you so much.
So I was just wondering if you could tell us something, or some things you've learned about your college auditions. In specific, like have you had any positive or negative experiences with your college auditions that influence your takeaways?
Yeah, so one of the biggest lessons that I learned throughout my college audition experience, specifically auditioning for like theater programs, is that I guess I wouldn't call it a bad experience, but when I was auditioning for the BFA acting program at Emerson
Mhm.
at LA Unifieds, I was there, I was in my audition, and you were just supposed to kind of go in and do one monologue, and it was just one on one with you and one other professor,
Mhm.
which is super rare because a lot of the time it's kind of like you're in, you're out, and they don't really work with you or give you notes. But this was going to be kind of like they said it was like 7 to 10 minutes to like work with one of the professors, which is, if a school is offering that in the audition, totally take advantage of it. Because for me, I was working and with this professor, and I ended up working on 3 different monologues with her, and she kept asking to see new things, and she was giving me all these notes and trying to help me. And I just kind of went out of the audition and I was like, okay, it went well, but I just didn't really vibe with her. I didn't vibe with the school. It just like wasn't a good fit for me. And something to keep in mind is that while you are auditioning for these other schools, you're also kind of auditioning them. So really pay attention in the info sessions. Try to tour the schools if you can. Right now, because of this distance learning thing going on, it's actually a great time to start doing some research on schools if you're a junior or even a sophomore, because schools are opening up all of these resources and all of this information and guidance from students and teachers,
Mhm.
because they can't hold tours right now. Yeah, I would just say do your homework on the schools, because experiences like that are going to show you that, okay, I know that, I could go there, but I don't want to, because you have to know that you like a place you're going to spend 4 years at and pay a lot of money for.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, I'm glad you found that realization beforehand versus like spending like 65 grand
Mhm.
a year on an education that isn't necessarily like for you.
Exactly. And then Cole, what is one of the best plays or projects or even a class that you've worked on in the acting conservatory at OSHA, and what have you learned from it?
I definitely would say my favorite show is probably 12 Angry Jurors. And like the main reason why I picked that show is because that was the first OSHA show I've been in where I was a main character. And it was a good experience for me to be in that show because it really taught me like what I need to do and what I need to prepare for when I have such a huge responsibility of playing a huge role. And it really helped me like learn like, okay, this is what I need to do to prepare. And it definitely, that show I felt like gave me a huge boost and more maturity. And I was very grateful because I felt like someone trusted me to play like a role, like a leading role. And I really appreciated having that opportunity because not saying that like I haven't been appreciated for ensemble, because I have, and ensemble is as great, but playing a leading role is definitely something like that you don't necessarily get all the time, and it's a really good opportunity when it comes your way. So I was very glad to take on that opportunity.
That's awesome. Yeah, I loved that show. It's one of my favorite plays.
Yeah, it's I like it too. Um, and then going back to the college process, if you could change one thing about your process, and it doesn't have to necessarily be like your auditions, it can just be like the app, like starting off with like your essays or just filling out the application in general. What would you change about it and why?
I'm kind of very much a believer in like everything happens for a reason. And I think that throughout this college audition process, while I did end up choosing a school I got into early action in November, um, I like applied to all of these other schools for regular decision. And while I could have, just applied to that school and gone and saved myself a lot of time and stress and money, I think I learned so much from all of my auditions and everything. So I'm not quite sure if I would change anything about my process, but I would say um, I could have started my essays and supplemental questions a little bit sooner. I originally like jumped in over the summer and I was like, I'm gonna get my Common App essay done. And then that didn't happen and I was very scrambled and I definitely wrote my UCs on November 30th. Um, and everyone will tell you this to start your essays like in the summer, juniors, but I'm just gonna say it again. Start your essays like in the summer, juniors, but please trust me because it's crazy. You don't want to spend your senior year up until 2 a.m. every night doing homework. And I was at rehearsals taking AP classes. That's another thing. I should not have taken 3 AP classes my senior year. But yeah, I mean, getting home at 8:30 and then having to do all of this homework and then work on your college applications, it's a lot. So start your application sooner and pick your college audition monologues. Don't do something new. Do something you've been working on for a while, because that way you feel more comfortable with it and it's not something you have to worry about as much. You just get to show who you are as an actor, and love your audition pieces. Because if you don't really connect with them, then you're not going to have as strong as a performance, and the auditioners will see that. And a lot of my auditioners like asked me like, why did you pick this piece? And if you just kind of pick something a teacher told you to do or something you've been doing forever that you don't really love, they're going to see that.
Mhm.
So that's my advice.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, especially starting early, because it's I wrote my UC app on November 30th as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. I know the Cal State's app crashed like 10 minutes before
Yeah,
they were due. It
I've
was so
heard.
many people were like online trying to submit within like 20 minutes, but
Yeah, that's what
start
I
them
heard. I
early.
thankfully submitted that one early, but yeah, the UC app, I was literally like,
Yeah,
I submitted that really late. Well, I submitted it on time, but like last minute.
same here. Cool. What is some advice you would impart on new students or younger students to the acting conservatory?
I would definitely say, like, definitely, like, I would, like, I'm trying to find the right words, but I would say, like, take your time. And, like, what I mean by that is, like, don't feel like you have to, like, rush through everything and you have to, like, take on every opportunity that's given your way. And I'm not saying, like, you shouldn't, like, take on opportunities. Like, of course, like, if there's a show, like audition for it, or if there's like a workshop, like try to do it if you can, like, but don't feel like you have to do every single thing in order to like be successful at school, like, because it, like, OSHA is super rigorous, and like you'll realize, and like you'll start to realize that once you like progress through high school at OSHA, because like it may start up as like pretty like chill, especially if you're like a middle schooler, but it definitely gets more hard as the years progress, and you definitely want to give yourself that breathing room as well. Like you want to take care of yourself as well, because it's really easy to get like very mentally deranged and feel very unmotivated and feel like you don't want to do anything anymore, because I've definitely been in that mindset like more than once. Um so like I want to just say like take your time and like just know what's good for you, and like know what you want to do specifically with your time, like, and don't just do everything to the point where you like don't give yourself any time to relax and to like socialize and to do stuff outside of school that isn't like acting related or conservatory related or academic related.
Yeah, I
um
totally agree with that. I mean, I think you said it really well. I mean, we're at school like until 4:45. You have conservatory Monday through Thursday for, 4 to 6 years sometimes. And I mean, I can say I've gotten burnt out like many times throughout my 4 years here at OSHA. I know every single person has been over it at one point or another, and that's okay to admit. You just have to understand that conservatory is what you make of it, and whether you want to go into theater or acting or any type of realm in the film industry or theater industry or whatever, you have to take and learn what you can from the classes, and
mhm.
you have to put in work. You can't just expect the teachers to make everything work exactly how you want it to. You have to understand that like you are responsible in learning and having fun.
Yeah, I agree with that entirely. And then I would say my last question is, how has OSHA and the acting conservatory affected your college process, specifically with pre-screens and auditions, since like that's where the conservatory comes more in hand?
Yeah, so OSHA in general, but specifically the acting conservatory, has been a really big help in all of my college audition processes and everything. I mean, all of my teachers, like every single one, even like, Miss Lang and Biz of the Biz was there to like run my pre-screens. And I mean, she actually filmed my pre-screens for me. I mean, it was so amazing. She set up this room in the IMMRC and all of the seniors could sign up, whether they were filming videos for college or not, and just got to film monologues. And she helped you and coached you a little bit and sent them to you. And like I do not know what I would have done if it wasn't for Miss Lang. Like she was such a big help. Like I love you, Miss Lang. Thank you. But yeah, like all of my teachers were there to help me. All of my teachers were always asking me, like when I got back from like Unifieds or a trip to New York or something, like how did it go? They'd have me like share for the class and like show what I learned. All the teachers are really supportive, and I mean they've seen like 100 students go through this process in their time here at OSHA. Like they know a lot. So if you have questions, ask them.
Yeah, Miss Lane, if you're watching this, thank you so much
Literally,
for your
you
pre-screen.
saved my life. I love you, Miss Lynn.
Same, because that was like, because I hate the pre-screen process. That's like my least favorite part of this
I
whole.
like never, I was like dreading it over the summer. I'm like, I'm never gonna want to film at home. Like I don't have a like clear backdrop. Like what am I gonna do? But she set
Yeah,
us in that soundproof room with that blue background and her camera,
yeah,
and it was great.
yeah. And then if you can, Miss Lane, I would please do that for everyone else, because I feel like, because we do appreciate that. Like everyone really appreciated that opportunity, because it was such a help to everybody, especially since we all have rigorous schedules and we barely have time to film on our own. So it's just like helped so much to have that like leeway and to have that extra guidance.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for chatting with me,
Of
Cole.
course. Thanks, Anya.
Um, bye everyone.
Bye. Thank you.